Then I have to get to my laptop because that's what it's on. And it said a whole thing said enough. I don't want any more. There's just so much work.
Welcome. We officially call the meeting to order this evening at 6:32 p.m. on Monday, July 22nd, 2024. We started with 2 non-public sessions for the purposes of an exit interview and interviewing potential new employees. So welcome to the Ware Board of Selectmen meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First up on our agenda is continuation of a public hearing, so I'd like to call that to order at 7:06 p.m. This is continuation from our July 8th meeting. We had a public hearing started on that date for the purposes of discussing acceptance of $35,092 from the Charles and Ethel Eastman Fund for the repairs of headstones in Center Square Cemetery. That public hearing was continued to a date certain tonight. Reason for the continuance was to ask the Mildred Hall Foundation, who is the controlling body of the Eastman Fund, if they would consider removing restrictions that cypre monies must be utilized prior to expending of those Eastman funds, should they be accepted. This board was concerned that restricting the cypre funds to be only utilized in Center Square for headstone repair was not in the best interest of the town, given that it just reduces our flexibility for what we can use those funds for. My understanding is the Mildred Hall Committee met last Friday, July 19th, to discuss those requested modifications, and I believe, Sherry, are you here for them? I'd like to recognize Sherry Burdick from the Mildred Hall Committee. Thank you.
So I'll just read this to the Select Board members, Town of Ware, 15 Flanders Memorial Road, July 22nd, 2024. This is from the Mildred Hall Bequest Advisory Committee. At the meeting of the Mildred Hall Bequest Advisory held on July 19th, the committee voted to recommend to the Board of Select Persons that $35,092 be expended from the Charles and Ethel Eastman Fund for the purpose of restoring and repairing the headstones at Center Square Cemetery. Sherry Burdick, as a representative of Charles and Ethel Eastman Fund, will oversee the headstone work at Center Square Cemetery. Thank you for your consideration of the money, and Elizabeth Straw signed it, and she's the chair. I'm only filling in for her because she's not feeling well tonight.
Thank you very much.
Okay?
All right. Anyone from the public that would like to speak? I know we had public comment last time, but since it's a continuation, I'll see if anyone else wants to talk. Okay. Before I close the public comment, any questions for Sherry? Okay. I'll close the public comment portion of the meeting, so turn it over to the Board of Selectmen for discussion.
This is what we asked if they would do, and they did, so I think it seems pretty cut and dried.
Okay. Good.
Any further comment from them?
Okay. All right, so would someone like to make a motion
Can I
to?
just ask a question?
Certainly.
So, is this gonna follow your purchasing policy or not? There was discussion when Terry sat here last time about the discussion and following the purchasing policy or not? Because I was called and I said if it's not a donation, it's a donation per se, but if it's a donation, my microphone wasn't on. So the question that was asked to me is, can they just go ahead and take that one person and go with a bid? Or do you have to put it out to bid. And I said, it's my understanding we're accepting the money with someone to oversee it. So we would have to follow our purchasing policy unless you as a board wanted to waive it. Because it's not it's a donation, but not a donation to the fact that you just accept the donation and
Yeah,
they
it's
go.
not a donation of the work from Perry
Right,
Brothers.
exactly. So they'd go out to bid if they were gonna donate the work itself, and they would hire somebody, pay somebody to do the work, which we wouldn't follow the policy on.
Mhm.
And then it would be donated similar to a public hearing.
Mhm.
But it's my understanding it over the threshold. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't tell somebody wrong.
I'll answer that from my perspective, and everybody else can weigh in. I know that we tried to get some quotes, but I do think that Perry Brothers was the only one who responded. But I think now that we're moving formally forward with the project, we should initiate an RFP and send it out. And if Perry's
still
still
only
the
get
only
one?
one,
Right.
then
Okay.
we're still the only one.
Okay.
Now, that's
Right,
my
then-
personal thought, but I'll hear from the rest of you.
Well, I mean, something completely different, but when I did chip coating, there's only one company in the Northeast that does chip coating for, $200,000-300,000 a year, but I put it out, I put the RFP out, and still was only one person, but I had to do my, to follow the person's policies.
Yeah, my understanding was that there was more than one, just two didn't get back, or one or two didn't get back.
As far as other companies that perform this kind of work,
That was
Yeah.
what I recall
Yeah.
being said.
and I thought though that Perry was the only one who actually gave us any kind of numbers.
But I don't disagree that we initiated an RFP.
Was the RFP from last time still in effect, or is it something we need to do right now?
Sherry, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it was a formal RFP that we sent out, was it?
No,
It was
it was
just some
not.
phone calls.
It wasn't, but
Okay.
Terry Knowles said last week, or whatever, when she was here, that as a gift, it didn't have to follow up, get an RFP, just so you know. I don't know, that's what she
Well,
said.
yeah, I think,
But I think that was
We
what.
just discussed
yeah,
that,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, I think that what was discussed brought a question to me, that's why.
yeah.
Well, this money now isn't necessarily just for that work, I mean, that's what it's intended for.
Right,
I
that's,
guess we broadened it to be for anything, right, so.
Well, we didn't broaden this money scope. It's still, the purpose of restoring, repairing headstones.
Yeah.
We
Right.
just freed up the
The side
other
prey
chunk of money.
Right.
So does that answer your question satisfactorily?
Well, no, it's just, I know, as I said last week, when we had training, it was discussed about a donation. And it's the understanding that if the Mildred Hall or the Ethel Eastman Fund was going to hire Perry Brothers, pay Perry Brothers, and then want us to accept the donation, that's a totally different path than giving funds, and then we find the right people with insurance and the whole thing. I just wanted to make that clarity, because I did get a phone call as a result from last week's meeting. That's what I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah. So I'm asking, does that?
It
did we answer your
clarifies me,
question?
you
Okay.
answered my question, I just wanted to make sure everybody.
Just to make
was-
sure before
Yeah,
I move back to a motion to accept.
sorry.
That's okay. No, I just wanted to make sure we had your question answered. And thank you for asking that. Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to accept the $35,092 from the Charles and Ethel Eastman Fund for the purposes of headstone repair at Center Square Cemetery. The money will be placed in the general fund, but used for the Center Square Cemetery headstone repairs. And the following restrictions is outlined by Mildred Hall Request Advisory Committee. Sherry Burdick be the project management lead. Anything to add to that?
I suppose, if it's not too late, I actually do have a question
Sure. It hasn't
for
been
Sherry.
moved.
So on the letter we had the last meeting, it specifically said, hey, any leftover money can be used for improving cemeteries more generally. Was that discussed this go-round?
no,
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was written that way is because use the cypre money
right,
and then use this money and then you can backfill cypre money.
So where I'm going with this is, if we get a quote back that's 30,000, then I just want to say now, what will happen with the $5,092? Because it will be in the general fund.
We'd like it to be used, I think, as we initially spoke about it, that we'd like all the money to be used in the cemeteries, either probably doing headstone repair somewhere else.
Well, it says Center Square.
This is just for Center Square.
So if there's money left over, you'll have to find other headstones at Center Square to fix.
Well, maybe they can be cleaned.
Sure. I'm sure there won't be a problem finding that, but it'll have to be used at Center Square
Yep.
if there's money left over. And I'm sure there's things to do with it there, but that's where it'll have to be spent. Right?
Well, what would be the responsibility for the town at that point? Would it be, okay, there's $5,000 left? Does this go back to Mildred Hall?
No.
Is there a discussion that, or is it regifted for other,
I guess that's my question.
yeah.
It says for the purpose restoring, repairing headstone Center Square, so I think we gotta
Right,
keep it for that,
but the
right?
balance, but if there is a balance, then that would have to be another public hearing to say we
If we spent it
want to
on
give the
center.
remainder.
As long as you spend
I
it on
think if you
Center
spend it
Square.
on Center Square and headstones,
Right, but if it isn't, because it's a possibility it
I
won't
think,
be.
I think if it comes in, quotes come in at less than 30, then we only take 30 from Mildred Hall. That's just my
You can always,
instinct. Because you're awarding up to $35,092. Prices may have gone up, I don't know,
Mhm.
you know, but that's the amount that we're at, that would be the maximum amount.
Does this fix and repair every single stone in the cemetery?
all the ones that are tipped, 163 of them. Tipped or on the ground or broken up or whatever. The other issue is that probably a lot of them need to be cleaned, so maybe that's if for some reason something came in less, but my guess is it's not gonna come in less. That's a lot of work to handle all those stones, take them out, put a cement pad in, put the base back down, put the headstone back on.
I'd read it, it's gotta be spent repairing stones in that cemetery. I'm not
Yeah.
concerned that
Yeah,
I don't know how long we can save that money for that, but I'm not, if it came way under,
Yeah, that's what I'm
just
saying.
would have
So
to
our
save it for
avenue,
that, I
our
guess.
avenue, if it is way under, back to Mildred Hall, they could re-gift the balance.
I believe they could. That's,
Well, we'll know when we get the quotes, so it won't be that long of a span of time. So if it does come in at $35,092, then we can have that discussion then about taking less than 35 to do the work, or
good point.
the full 35, and what additional work can we do?
yeah.
Sound fair?
Yep,
So was the wording of your motion
No.
specific to 35, or was it up to?
Yes, no, it said
Okay.
35,092, so
Okay.
I think it needs to be changed to up to. Make that modification, motion to accept up to $35,092.
I'll second it. If I didn't already.
Okay, so I'll make the motion, Salem can second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say yes or yay?
Yes.
yes.
Yes. I didn't hear, I heard all 5, but just to clarify, anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Okay, motion passes. Thank you very much for the donation.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you.
Please let everyone know we're very appreciative, and we look forward to kicking off one of many projects related to cemetery
Yeah.
maintenance and improvements.
yeah. Only one thing, will this go out for bid here in the next week?
Yeah, I
Because-
don't know if in the next week, but pretty soon.
Well, the
It
problem
needs to
is,
be
you're not gonna
quickly.
get anybody to go in and finish it this year, because it's gonna continue to get later and later and later here. Now we're pushing the end of July, we're in the 22nd today. So if it doesn't go out right away and you get it back, all you've got is August, September, and October, and they're probably pretty well shutting down. There might be a little bit of time in November, but they were hoping to be in May to start this. So, anyway, just thought I'd let you know.
So who's got the specifics on what was asked for? I know you called 3 companies, so you must have the specifics, so I
I
can't
called
write the
the
RFP
Manchester-
without the specifics.
I called Manchester.
Right, but I need to know exactly what you asked of them, so I can ask the same
I
thing.
asked them to come out and inspect Center Square Cemetery. I'd meet them there. and to look at all the headstones that were either tipped or falling and how much they would charge to repair it.
Okay, do you have their email that they sent with the quote? Because I can extract the information to put the RFP together.
Yeah, I can forward that to you. I think I gave it to you early on.
You gave it to us in a hard copy, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, it's still on the computer, I'm sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. All right. I'll close the public hearing then at 7:20 PM. Okay. The next public hearing isn't scheduled to start until 7:30, so is there any business we can do between now and 7:30?
May I make a suggestion?
Certainly.
You've got, I think, 2 gentlemen for appointments.
Okay.
I know Sean's here. Matt. Kyle's not here, so Sean and Matt are here.
Okay. Okay with that, Maud? Sure. All right. Tonight we have Sean Gaffney and Matt Uri here for consideration as volunteer members for the Zoning Board of Adjustments. Just as a reminder to ourselves, we have 1 full member position open. That seat expires April 1, 2026. I'll refer to this as the 2-year full member seat. And there are 3 alternate member positions open. Alternates are appointed for 3-year terms per the RSA. So Sean, would you like to come up first?
Good evening, Sean Gaffney. How are you?
So tell us why you'd like to serve on the zoning board.
Sure. So, good evening, everyone. Sean Gaffney from Reservoir Drive. I've been a resident here in Ware since 2014. I'm a small business owner as a systems consultant, working from the house. And over the past year or so, I've been reaching out to other committee members, looking for an opportunity to get involved, see where I could, contribute, bring some value to the community, and to actually get to meet more residents in Ware. And I was so I landed on the zoning board because I think there's a strong alignment to my skill set, to my work history. From a regulation standpoint, I spent time with the Department of Defense, the U.S. Air Force in a contracting office capacity, working with the Federal Acquisition Regulation book, which is about 4 inches thick. Yeah, right.
Really thin pages and it's really small print.
It's very dense, right? and that's what abides the contracting office, in this case for the U.S. Air Force, on procuring weapon systems. Additionally, I've worked in higher education. One of my capacities was adjudicating code of conduct infractions. So it was, working at a level university-wide, working with the Ombudsman's office, upholding the code of conduct. So the theme, or the thread that's sewn through these is really, being able to serve in a capacity that's working off of a code of some sort, whether it's a regulation, a code of conduct, in this case, ordinances. And so, the more that I looked into this, I've done, the due diligence. I've gone through and I've taken I've gone through all the materials, including the ordinances, the New Hampshire OPD website. I've taken the certification, which I have here, submitted my application. I've gone through and reviewed the code of conduct, so I don't see anything in jeopardy there. All those are in alignment. So all the, I guess if you might say, the stars aligned in terms of some other considerations that I had. That zoning board, I think, was the best fit, and I would be looking to pursue a full membership role. If the question may come, if I served in the zoning board capacity in another municipality, the answer is no, not in that specific capacity, but to the examples that I gave coming into this, the materials that I've reviewed that support the ZBA, I think ramping up would become quickly.
So do you have any business or personal conflicts which might impact your ability to make decisions which are solely in the best interest of the town?
Not at this time.
Okay. And if you did encounter some, what would you do?
I would raise it to the chair of the committee initially, and then take corrective action from there.
Okay.
Whether it would be to recuse myself from a potential, case review, or anything outside of that.
And I think I heard you correctly say that you did review the New Hampshire Office of Planning and Development, and
I-
you have taken the tests.
Yes.
Okay.
I have my certificate here.
What other questions you guys have for Sean?
Are you aware of the time commitment involved? And are you ready for that?
I am, so to my understanding, I think there's going to be, some learning, right, in terms of what that amounts to, depending on the cases that come through. My understanding is that cases will come through a couple weeks in advance of the monthly, our monthly session. There's a review, there's a commitment to reviewing the cases in advance and against the ordinances, and coming prepared to have that discussion. So, yes, I'm aware of that.
Anything else for Sean?
Didn't leave much room for questions for me. On his own.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thank you for being willing to volunteer. So I think we can get that done as well. Matt? Thank you as well for being here. Thank you for your interest, serving as a volunteer. So tell us why you'd like to be on the Zoning Board of Adjustments.
Good evening, Matt Uri, Hilburn Road. Well, the big thing was there was a call for volunteers, so I decided to volunteer myself to be on the board. My background, 10 years as a Navy nuke electrician, and then I've been with Eversource for the last 12 years. Lived in Ware for almost 8 years now. I do hold my bachelor's degree in nuclear engineering technology, and I do hold a master's in my MBA. Partially what I've seen for, I wasn't as prepared as Sean was, and I have looked at kind of the stuff, but I didn't take the little test thing there, but that was one thing I was going to do. But I did look through it. Zoning board kind of seemed interesting to me. It does have rules, regulations, all that stuff to follow, and that was partially being a Navy nuke. You have to follow instructions, RPMs, which are reactor plant manuals and steam plant manuals, and those books are very thick and very thought out, and you have to follow them by procedure. So kind of that part of me would kind of understand of looking at the rules of the zoning board and taking a look at those and being able to compare things with that. Also with the, Eversource having that as kind of, there's still rules and stuff that we have to follow there, so. That's about all I got.
Okay. That's a lot. Do you have any business interests or personal conflicts which might impact your ability to make decisions that are solely in the best interest of the
Nope, the
town?
only thing I would think of is I work for Eversource, so anything that, if that were to come about, like Sean said, we would talk about it with the chairman and then recuse myself if I need to, or go any actions that way. But that's the only thing I would see.
All right. What else do you have for Matt?
Same question, as for Sean, are you aware of the time commitment and willing to, report the time?
That I do, and yes, I will.
And are you looking for a full member or an alternate member? Do you have a
Alternate
preference
member.
Personally, alternate.
Yep.
Any other questions for Matt? All right. Good, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're gonna jump back to the public hearing, guys, so, sorry, it's now close to 7:30, or 7:30 by my watch, so, if you don't mind just sticking around a little bit longer? Okay, all right, good, thank you. All right, so that brings us to 7:30. And we have a public hearing that I'll open related to reviewing junkyard license renewals. We have two requests, one from Allied Auto Wrecking located at 32 Dustin Tavern Road, tax map 411220. And the second one is from Ware Body and Frame located at 406 Concord Stage Road, tax map 202-046. As I stated, these are renewals. The town has previously granted authority for both to operate, and their current licenses were up for renewal on July 1, 2024, in accordance with NHRSA 236-121, Section 1. Both companies applied for their renewal prior to the deadline. Under RSA 236-121, Section 2, licenses shall be renewed if not a nuisance under public law or a nuisance under RSA 236-119, or the owner is not convicted of larceny or receiving stolen goods, and the receipt of annual licensing fee in accordance with NHRSA 236-122. In addition, applications to renew license to operate an automotive recycling yard or motor vehicle junkyard shall include certification of compliance with best management practices established by the Department of Environmental Services for the automotive salvage industry. So this board is not aware of any formal complaints against either Allied Auto Wrecking or Ware Body and Frame in the last year. The purpose tonight is to make sure that there is no reason, as we just described, that the license should not be renewed. So I guess I'll talk to Allied first. Who's here from Allied? David? Yes. Hi, David.
How you doing?
What's your last name, David?
Willis?
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
You said Wills or Willis?
Willis.
IS?
No, US, there you go.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
How long have you guys been in town?
51 years.
Wow.
Same owners, same place, same everything.
Have you received any direct complaints during the past year that this board is not aware of?
No, and since you were talking about best management practices, we are Green Yard certified, if you're familiar with that at all.
Yep.
The state was there and gave us our certificate. 15 years ago when that started, we were probably one of 15. To this date, we are probably one of 3 that are left that are Green Yard certified still.
Okay. Does your property still meet the fencing or natural barrier requirements?
Yes.
And so, Naomi, we've received all the appropriate paperwork?
Yep.
So we have their renewal application, licensing fee, and certification of compliance?
But the application and the check, I don't have anything more than that from either one.
Okay.
I'm sure I can get copies.
Yep. Okay.
I don't see Alan. You here? No. No. The next one's not here.
Okay. Any questions for David before we open it up to public comment?
I guess it's hopefully a silly question, but I was trying to read through the RSAs leading up to this. So 236-117 license requirements says, when this hearing takes place, the local governing body shall hear the applicant and all other persons wishing, et cetera, and it shall take into account. So I feel obligated to ask, do you have any convictions for larceny or receiving of stolen goods?
Nope.
All right.
No, I skipped over that. That was on my list.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
I wrote none from the question number 1 and question number 2. Sorry. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that was it.
Sorry. Thank you. Appreciate you keeping me straight all the time. Questions for David? All right. Dave, we're going to call for public comments, see if there is any, and
Sure.
go from there. Thank you. Does anyone have any public comment related to Allied Auto Wrecking? Your name, please, when you get.
Huron. I have a letter that was written by one of my neighbors, and he works at night, so he's not able to be here, and he asked me to deliver it and for one of you on the board to read it. It's a public statement from him. So I'm just the girl here. Who would like to read it?
Thank you.
And he said, read and enter into the record.
Okay. Yep. You know, it's gonna be such some fun.
You volunteer.
I did, okay. So the RSA 236-116, renewal of 2 junkyard licenses. In the spirit of protecting the town and licensees from any potential litigation with regards to contamination, should consideration be given, if it hasn't already been asked as of this writing, to formulate a baseline of the current condition of the soil within an agreed-upon perimeter of the affected 2 locations, question mark. The community with regards to industrialization, given what the town of Daring, New Hampshire, as one example, has with concerns of, I'm not going to read those long words, issue, no community is immune. The effects of these chemicals are just to the fore of consciousness to the public at large. As the town has done a remarkable job in continuing to preserve land for future generations in terms of recreation, should we not also look at mitigation to ensure these lands remain as pristine as possible? The presence of a loon family at Horse Lake has been a blessing to view land preservation. That species has been dealing with an environmental hazards, i.e. lead fishing weights as well as PFAS. This letter is not to be taken as a vote against the renewal, but more a suggestion as stated to protect both parties. We need our more business in town to offset taxes and provide employment opportunity, not less. Respectfully submitted in kind regards, Doug Panett, 30 Thurber Road.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to see it, or?
Anyone else for a public comment? Yeah, it is.
Ricky Hippolyte, Quaker Street. I'm 100% in support of you guys renewing this. I've known Dave for a good number of years. I've known Alan for a good number of years. Neither one of them, they're just businessmen trying to make a living. As a matter of fact, I can't tell you how many times I've been to David's for fire department training. He donates vehicles to us. We cut them up. So he's a good man, and like I said, I hope you guys renew this. Thank you.
Anyone else for a public comment? David, I don't want to put you on the spot, but would you like to respond to how the green yard certification protects the soil? If you would like to, you don't have to.
Yes, I can. Okay. So the state of New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services has their basic guidelines of what you can't do. You can't have oils on the ground, running anywhere, that type of stuff. To be Green Yard certified, we have to go over and above their standards. So when we have our motor oil transmission fluid, it comes out into a 275 gallon drum. That's the first containment area. Then it is also encapsulated in a 2,500 gallon cement septic tank. So if anything ever does leak out from the tank, it will not leak out onto the ground as secondary containment. That's one of the things we have to do. We also have to have best management practice. We also have to drain all our cars before they go out back. So all the fluids, anything that's burnable, power steering, transmission fluid, gear oil, brake fluid, we burn our waste oil furnace. Gas goes in all our delivery vehicles. We sell all our windshield washer fluid, and any of the Freon that we have, we usually sell or barter with the local garages to have our air conditioners redone. And we're also governed by the federal EPA. They come around and check for water runoff. So we are governed by the state, the town, and the federal government as well. But Green Yard certification just means that we have to go above and beyond any of their average practices.
Thank you.
I do have a little something if you guys want to read it from the state.
Anyone else for public comment? All right. Is anyone here from Where Body and Frame? Did they show up? Didn't see anybody walk in.
I don't see him.
Okay, all right. Does anyone have any public comments specific to Where Body and Frame? Okay.
Has
Going
he been in
twice.
business as long as you have?
Starting at the same time.
See, Ware Body and Frame started the same time as
Yeah, I
these
know,
guys did.
it was his dad that started it, right, Alan's dad?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I know it's been a long time, because I think I was a kid. Sorry.
All right. Okay. All right, I'll close the public comment, hearing no further public comment on either at 7:42. Oops. Okay, open it up to the board for discussions.
Are we aware of any convictions for any type of larceny or receiving of stolen goods for Ware Body and Frame?
I am not aware of
No.
any.
Works for me.
What? I didn't get
I think we should approve both, and further, I got hung up on the paperwork when it came across, and when I went through the RSAs, I didn't see where, and maybe I missed it, or maybe it's, really my question is, why is it an annual? I didn't see it in the RSAs. Is that coming from our local zoning?
I think it's in the RSA, I think it's July 1st. I thought that was the date that was in there.
And that's what I saw on the paperwork, but then I never saw it in the RSAs.
I saw it somewhere.
Okay.
I can't cite exactly
I
where.
could have pasted almost all of 236. Because I was searching for June, you said July?
So
Oh,
it's,
it's right here.
I'm sorry.
Forthwith, if approved, the license, including the certificate of approved location, shall be forthwith issued to remain in effect until the following July 1st.
Okay. And that's,
And that is 236, 121.
Yeah.
I.
that's fine. I'll skip right over 121.
Because, section 2 says licenses shall be renewed thereafter upon payment of the annual license fee without a hearing if all provisions of the subdivision are complied with during the license period. If the junkyard does not become a public nuisance under common law or is not a nuisance under RSA 236-19, and if the applicant is not convicted of any larceny, then you can renew it.
Does our application have any of that on it? Because I don't recall seeing a renewal.
218, 121, 122,
That's what's in.
Okay.
Yeah,
Try to make it easier next year.
121 is,
Yeah.
121's on the application.
It is, okay,
I'll just hand you down that one.
thanks.
They're both the same, sorry. He asked if RSA 236, 121 is on the application, and it is. You have to check that.
And that's where I remember seeing it, but I couldn't remember, 'cause it's been a few weeks, if that was quoting an RSA or our own zoning ordinance.
Yeah, we addressed the application of 16, 18, 21, 22, 23. I don't know that we did them all, but
And then at the time, I guess, do we have a new copy of this that has amended, I guess, approval date? Because the other one was going to be like June or late July, I think.
it was July 8th because it was the date of,
But it does have to be
and then
July
you
1st.
guys signed it and then crossed it off.
Yep. And so I guess I'm asking, do we still have that copy, or do we have a fresh copy that says July 1?
You don't have that, but I can go make a fresh copy at some point.
I think that's worthwhile, because that's what you just read, right?
Yep,
1st?
July 1. It would have to be through July 1.
Or it says remain in effect until the following June 30th, so.
Okay. June 30th. All right. We can, we don't need a motion to approve them since we just signed them, correct?
You do, but they're
Or do
being
we need-
delayed where we were delayed, I believe, is holding them up from being able to go to any auction or anything like that.
Right, but we can sign them later tonight.
Yeah, if you allow me to run upstairs
Yeah,
and do it after.
Okay, I was just gonna say, you don't have to stick around if you don't want to.
Yeah.
We can sign the paperwork. Do we need any kind of motion to allow me to sign this copy? Once we get it?
You can authorize the chair to sign that if you want.
But we're all signing the other copy?
You're all gonna sign the other copy.
Okay, all right. I think I'm good. Okay. All right. Okay, I'll close the public hearing at 7:47. Great.
Because we had a public hearing, should we at least make the motion even though you're all gonna sign it? I'm just asking for closure paperwork-wise.
We can. I just always, the assumption that if we are all signing it, we didn't need a motion, but
Okay.
that's fine. Motion to renew the junkyard.
License renewal?
Yeah, license renewal, thank you. For Allied Auto Wrecking and Wear Body and Frame for the period through June 30th, 2025.
You are making the motion?
I am.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say yes or yea?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I believe I heard 5. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Okay, motion passes.
By Wednesday morning. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your time tonight. Thank you for coming in and educating us all about what you do. Thank you. All right, I think that would bring us to the point in the agenda where we are open now for public comment related to anything. We normally do this at the beginning of the meeting. We did have 2 non-publics and then 2 public hearings, so I appreciate anybody that's here for public comment waiting, and we'd like to hear from you now. Thanks. No rush.
David Erickson, 246 Poor Farm Road, again representing our energy group, research group. I submitted a letter to the chair, just hoping we could have approval for a signature on a letter of support for our committee to pursue this grant. We're required to have 3 letters of support. Keith Orff said he'll give us one. I'm hoping the fire chief and police chief will do one. And so if you feel comfortable with it, it also on the letter asks if you could approve me as the point of contact, just so that it's official. They want to know who the official point of contact is. I don't think you want to be the point of contact, since there's 427 little points of contact to get this through. Is that something you could do tonight?
We could definitely talk about it when we get to correspondence and other, David.
Do you want any other copies of the letter?
We have it.
You have it. And I didn't know whether you want to be the select board or the board of select men, since we have a select woman. So
They're interchangeable terms. They all mean the
if
same
you're
thing.
comfortable either way.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
believe it or not, the New Hampshire RSAs say that, so.
They say board of select men.
Yep.
All right.
It's all the same. You can call yourself a select woman if you want to, but you call yourself a select man if you want
I
to.
think it's up to you.
I'm good with it anyway. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Tom Clow, 125 Concord Stage Road. I just have a question for the board. When you were talking about making appointments to the ZBA earlier, you had two board members who were going to fill in until you were able to fill it. If these members are approved tonight, will you then backtrack from that? In other words, you won't have, have you decided that?
I think once we get a full slate, we said that we would step down, and I personally can say from my commitment, I will uphold that commitment.
So if in my article I simply say that when you have a full slate, the Board of Select will not be directly on the ZBA?
I would formally resign from the ZBA. James?
Okay,
I would as well.
okay. Thank you, that's all I had.
Thank you. Appreciate you making sure we keep honest here. Thank you. Ricky?
Ricky Hipper, Quaker Street. Just want to touch upon some hiring practices. 2022 and 2023, when we made the warrant article, Selectman Van and myself crafted the language of Article 20, which is the devolution of the Board of Fire Awards. And the town voted and approved 154-1B, fire chief appointed by the local governing body, if any, with firefighters appointed by the local governing body or manager, upon recommendation of the fire chief. It was voted in the affirmative. So, we've got some new faces at the fire department, some familiar faces, and I am 100% on board with this. We need all the help we can get, and good help is hard to find. But the direction that the board gave the fire chief is that if they've been here before and left in good standings, just bring them back aboard. That is not the envision of this RSA. Even if you guys don't want to bring them back in to talk to them, and they left in good graces and they're going to come back, you still need to move and vote them in. It's not up to him. Under his recommendation, of course, but not solely. It's still you guys are the authority to hire and fire, and then we crafted that so it matched the DPW and matched the police department. So, even if it's under correspondence or, on the business or the administrator's report, hey, the chief brought in Joe Smith, left in good graces, there was still a disconnect of employment there. So it's not like there was a leave, I know that one was leave, but not all of them are leaves. There's still a disconnect of employment, so there's still basically a new hire. You guys need to move that back in according to the RSA. So just wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you mind, because the only one I recall did ask, and there was not a disconnect. So
Okay.
if you are aware of others, can you just shoot an email?
Yeah, I can do that, absolutely. And the chief wants to speak. Like I said, and it's no fault of the chief. I have no qualms with that. It's just that, again, if you guys are the hiring authority, like every other department.
Can I respond to that quickly? Okay, so I'm not sure what happened with in regards to that. You said you referenced 154 what?
1B.
1B? Okay, 154 1A, and the in the code for fire chiefs
154-1B.
is a fire chief appointed by a local governing body or by the town or city manager with any firefighters appointed by the fire chief. So I guess we have to make a determination out of what law.
I got the town report right here.
I'm looking at the law right here, which is state of New Hampshire law. It's actually Title VII, Public Safety Welfare, Chapter 154, Fire Wards, Firefighter, and Fire Hazards. And its organizational duties. And as Mr. Hippler said, yes, that is in there, but there is also A is before the B. So I guess if there's something that the board would like me to do other than what's stated in this, then just let me know and I'll make that happen.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think at this point, we need to take an action to investigate the A and B and the town vote, and I appreciate Mr. Hippler bringing that to our attention, and,
I show as 154-1IB. So maybe I left a character out, my apologies.
151 dot,
154:1, subsection I, B. That's the way it's printed in the town report 2023.
okay, thank you, appreciate that. Okay. Anyone else for public comment?
Greg Smith, Reservoir Drive. I want to speak briefly about some issues that have been dogging the Ware Ethics Committee. They've been discussed here at one point. They were discussed last Thursday at the Ware Ethics Committee meeting. And they have to do with the underlying charter for the Ethics Committee. They're interrelated and I guess tedious. They revolve around the exact text that was referred to in Warrant Article 40 from 2006 when the Ethics Committee was originally empowered, which indicates that there was a code of ethics that would be implemented, but the code of ethics was not included in the actual warrant article, or nowhere was it recorded in the formal record. Now, if you do go to the town clerk, she will provide this document, which is 3 pages, and it is quite consistent with things that you find on the website, like the existing code of ethics. The questions that revolve around this are, is this the actual document that was in question? It was referred to in the deliberative session as being posted at the town office, so do we believe the provenance of this document? The second question has to do with the second and third pages of it, which are labeled Ware Ethics Code Implementation. And the question there is, do these have the force of an ordinance or of a town-passed warrant? So I'd like to address those questions and hopefully put them to bed. Unfortunately, the issue's been slightly muddied by an opinion from the town attorney who took a point of view contrary to what I'm going to outline here. So to address the second one first, is the Ware Ethics Code implementation something that was created by the Ethics Committee itself and is therefore subject to change by the Ethics Committee, or are these 2 pages, do they have the force of an ordinance which can only be changed by town warrant? And frankly, this question can be answered by logic alone. This is because the Ware Ethics Code implementation indicates that, as happened, the moderator would appoint members of the committee who would then be replaced by elected members of the committee with staggered terms. That's exactly what happened. So it would be impossible for the Ethics Committee to write the procedure for their own empowerment. It's logically incompatible. So it would be absurd to propose that this was written by the Ethics Committee. It's a chicken and egg issue. The egg can't, or you get the idea. The other thing that really argues in favor of this is the last sentence of it, which does read, this ordinance shall become effective 60 days after its adoption by the voters of the town of Ware. So it seems to me, as Neil Kirk, one of the members of the Ethics Committee, characterized it, the opinion from the town attorney, which indicated that this was, adopted by the Ethics Committee is, as Mr. Kirk characterized it, wildly inaccurate. And I see no reason to listen to that. Now, the next question is this, do we accept the provenance of this document? Now, at face value, prima facie as it were, this seems to be it. It's the document that you get from the town clerk when you ask for it. The code of ethics reflected on the front page is identical to that which has been posted on the website for some time. And the ethics code of implementation reflects exactly what had been followed in the past to implement the ethics committee. So it seems to me, at least, clear that this is the document. It all has the force of an ordinance, and we can put the matter to rest. But I will make a suggestion that if, reasonable people can still disagree, I would like to suggest that if that is the case, the Board of Selectmen can work with the Ethics Committee to craft a new warrant article to explicitly incorporate both the Code of Ethics and the implementation with any revisions necessary, subject to public hearing if you choose, so that all these defects can be remedied. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate all the research you've done, and thank you for sending that to us. in an email.
And yes, for the record, the Ethics Committee and the Board of Selectmen have received all my notes on this via email.
Anyone else for public comment? Okay. Okay, department head and committee items. Anything to be brought forward here? Naomi?
I'm sorry.
Anything for department head committee items?
No.
Okay, good. I wasn't aware of it. And circle back to some hiring decisions if you guys would like.
Do you want to swear in your volunteers while it's here? You're still here. Your ZBA.
Okay, swapping back over to zoning board of adjustments.
I was just following the list, that's all.
That's fine. Discussion point, we talked to Sean and we talked to Matt. So, we have, as I stated earlier, 1 2-year full term, full member, and we have, it was a quantity of 3 alternates still available.
I have one question for Matt, if that's all right.
Yes, it is.
So you said earlier you were interested in an alternate slot. Was that based on knowing that we only had, because what was stated at the beginning, and which technically true today, we have 1 full and 1 alternate, but we do have a member of the Board of Selectmen who's sort of filling in as a full member. And when we find somebody who is willing to be a full member, as was discussed a minute ago, then he said he would commit to a previous kind of agreement to step down. So are you interested in a full slot but didn't know that there was one available? Are you absolutely set on alternate?
I am up for whatever I need to do, so I would be interested if that was open, yes.
Okay.
I don't believe we asked Mr. Gaffney what his preference was.
Oh, he stated.
He stated
He
he
did.
wanted a
Stayed
full.
all the time.
I missed
Yeah,
it.
he was interested in a full, full member status.
Okay.
Okay. So, given that,
If we were to appoint both of them to full, you'd have to resign right now.
Before or after they're appointed,
before,
and I hereby tender my resignation to the zoning board.
Is that official enough?
we need to follow it up in writing to the ZBA, send it to all the current members, since there's only an acting chair at this point.
Okay,
Be great. If you can do that tonight, that would be even better.
I can do that.
Your tenure was flawless.
So that leaves you a 3 and a 2?
Soon to be 5 and 2.
No, at least you 3-year and a 2-year.
Yeah.
Oh,
me
I'm sorry.
check.
I thought you were saying how many
No, no.
full and,
I knew, yeah, a 3-year and a 2-year.
Yeah, let me check, because I wrote them all down because I was very confused. I had to create myself a matrix. That's it, yeah. Okay, thank you. So James was in the slot through 2025.
So it's a 2 and a 1.
So it's a 2 and a 1.
that makes sense.
No. Yeah, a 2 and a 1, yes. I was like, no, that's a 1 and a 2.
Okay.
It's a 2 and a 1.
So I suppose a follow-up question to each of you. Do you have a preference, a 2 or 1 year? Yeah.
Well, since Mr. Gaffney's already taken the test, I would say put him in for the 2-year term and give Matt the 1-year term. Just to
Seems
allow him some time to
reasonable.
get up to speed and unreasonable.
And then we still need to find an alternate to replace you.
I haven't resigned.
I know. What I mean is,
Yeah, yes, we
Yeah.
still have other alternate positions
Yes.
available, assuming both of these go in as full members.
yes.
We have 3 plus mine, so we could take up to 4 more people as alternates.
Yeah. So are you looking, would you resign with 1 more alternate?
Whatever we think is best. If the board is functioning and doesn't need somebody to fill in because they've got people that say, yes, I can step up and take the meeting, you know, I'm comfortable enough taking the meeting, yeah. Once we get to that point, be glad to go. I don't want to hang on longer than necessary, but I also took it to make sure that we can have effective meetings.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So, motion to appoint Sean Gaffney to a 2-year term on the zoning board as a full member. His appointment would then expire on 2026, April 1.
Second?
Any further discussion? All those in favor say yes or yea?
Yes.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Okay, that motion passes. Make a motion to appoint Matt Uri to a 1-year term as a full member. His appointment would expire on April 1st, 2025. Thank you.
Second?
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes or yea?
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? That motion also passes. Are we prepared to do oaths of office tonight?
Yeah, sure.
Great.
Can we go
Selectman
back
Knapp,
as
are
an
you,
alternate?
do that again for us? You're closest to being able to get up. All right, and you do so well.
I'll take it back after. Sean first and then Matt.
Thank you.
Come on up, Joel. Right here's flag.
Could you raise your hand?
I state your name.
Sean Gaffney,
Do solemnly and sincerely swear and affirm. Do solemnly and sincerely swear.
solemnly and sincerely affirm,
Yep, that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform.
I will faithfully
And
and
impartially
impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties
all the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as zoning board adjustment member
as a board adjustment member,
for a 2-year term,
2-year term,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
agreeable to the rules and regulations
agreeable to the rules and regulations
of this Constitution and laws
of this
Constitution and laws
of the state of New Hampshire,
of the state of New Hampshire,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Enough of that. Thank you.
This is Sean. Nope, that's his. Matt's gonna do this, you can go.
Okay. It's mine.
Over here. Take her in the task. Come here.
I state your name.
I, Matthew Deering,
We can just-
Do solemnly and sincerely
do solemnly and sincerely
swear and affirm
swear and affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent upon me
all the duties incumbent upon me
as zoning board adjustment member
as zoning board adjustment member
for a one-year term,
for a one-year term,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
agreeable to the rules and regulations
agreeable to the rules and regulations
of this Constitution and laws
of the Constitution and laws
of the state of New Hampshire, so help me God.
of the state of New Hampshire, so help me God.
Thank you.
You need to sign here.
No, this is
Yeah,
updated March
that's all.
2019, this is,
That's the one we have. Okay.
thank you.
Question for you, Naomi, are we generating emails for the zoning board of adjustments, town emails?
I have not yet.
But we are.
Yeah, I can. We were doing one board at a time. We did park, we did conservation, now these will be next, planning.
I think,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
I think we should do that since we're getting everybody on board, get them set up right.
Everybody will use them though. I've got a group that doesn't use them. Paying per month, they're not using them.
Who's that?
Yeah.
There's a couple of card members that haven't set theirs up. So they want it sent to their personal one, and that's not the idea.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think we need to address that with them. Is that something you want to do, or should James do? Or should there be a different alternative?
I think we need, I think there are some that could stand to have an additional training session if they missed it the first time, could use some assistance from IT support in setting up their emails.
And if we're doing away with folks now, it's a good opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and tell them, probably just be sending them the new password and instructions on if they need to have a sit-down session.
We actually have an ethics member that hasn't either because doesn't have a cell phone and you have to use the two-person authenticator to sign up. So I was asked to go and set it up with my phone, I don't know. Just letting you know. And was the one on here for Parks and Rec, did that not happen? Do you know? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over.
No, I'm pretty sure everybody received their new email addresses, just not everybody.
Okay,
Set
no,
theirs up.
the next volunteer we have on here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Kyle Cleveland.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, did he go to your meeting?
Yes, he did.
Okay, and there was no action taken, is that why? I don't think you appointed him, did you?
We did not appoint, no.
You didn't recommend for him to come here either? Okay.
Don't
mean to put you on the
recall.
spot, I'm just, okay. Alright, I can figure that out, maybe that's why. We'll get that figured out.
Okay. All right, so I think then that brings us to motions to hire for truck driver and head mechanic. I'll make a motion to hire Jeremy Martinell as a truck driver / laborer. Starting date of July 23rd, 2024. Starting rate of $24.72, which is a step 2. And after a 6-month probation period, successfully completed. Step 3 at $25.46. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor say yes or yay?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Okay, great. That passes. I'd make a motion to hire Charles Cohen for the position of head mechanic with the start date of July 30th, 2024, with 2 conditions for probation. At the end of 6 months, he must have a CDLA, and he must have his heavy-duty portion of the mechanical inspection license completed. Starting pay at step 2 at $32.26, and when successfully completing probation at the 6-month period, step 3 would be $33.23. Is there a second on that?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor say yes or yay?
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Okay, that also passes. Welcome aboard, gentlemen.
They both seem like great hires, so glad they're joining, and good Jason to get them and know where they're gonna slot in.
Yep. And I know hiring a head mechanic's been something we've been trying to do for a very long time, and we've been short drivers and everything, so very much a welcome addition to the team. Okay. All right. Okay. So if I'm playing along correctly, that brings us to manifests?
Yes.
Okay. I'll be glad when we get back to weekly meetings so that I don't have to read all this stuff every single week.
I would gladly read that every week to have meetings every other week.
I figured I'd get some reaction out of somebody with that. Okay. I'd like to vote to order the treasurer to sign the payroll and accounts payable checks dated July 25th, 2024, as included in the following manifests. Payroll manifest, $87,516.90. Accounts payable manifest, $48,447.25. Supplemental accounts payable manifest, $17,109.40. John Stark accounts payable manifest, $400,000. And Ware School accounts payable manifest, $1 million. For a total of $1,553,073.55. The following manifests were previously ordered to be signed at the July 8th, 2024 Board of Selectmen meeting. Payroll manifest, $87,523.25, and accounts payable manifest, $122,797.83. And there is no Selectmen meeting scheduled for Monday, May 29th, nor for Monday, August 5th. So I'd like to further order the treasurer to sign payroll checks dated August 1 and August 8th, 2024, estimated to be approximately $180,000. Furthermore, to order the treasurer to sign the amount of $160,000 for accounts payable that cannot wait, order the treasurer to sign up to the amount of $160,000 for accounts payable that cannot wait until the next scheduled meeting. Reports and actual checks will be reported to the Board of Selectmen by inclusion of the manifest memo at the next scheduled meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say yes or yay.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Okay.
You have one set of minutes. The minute taker reached out to me. She's working on the other set. She's got 6 children, so she had 4 meetings last week, and then she's got 2 more from last week. Because she had the 8th, the 9th, 10th, and 11th. And the 8th, 9th, and 10th were till between 10 and 12 o'clock. The 8th one would be a little shorter. And then our meeting was a couple hours, just, she hasn't forgotten that. And then to squeeze in Parks and Rec, so she's got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for the following week, because she's doing Park and Rec.
Okay.
So
So-
you have the 17th only.
Yeah, we have the 17th, we don't have the July 8th,
15 or 17.
15 or 17th,
Right.
okay. And one more plea, please get the finalized versions up on the website.
I guess, while we're talking about minute taking, so we have the subcommittee of the planning board to talk about the master plan questionnaire, and we have the advisory subcommittee for cemeteries. So is the expectation that those subcommittees and other subcommittees will be taking their own minutes? I think that's what we
I think that's good.
talked about by email, but, you know, making sure everybody's,
I know the subcommittee, I was part of that. I just watched from the master plan subcommittee, somebody's gonna do the minutes.
okay.
Yeah, so if it's not on the list that we have paid for the transcriber, I almost said subscriber, transcriber to do, then that committee, whatever it is, if it's not on that list, has to take their own minutes.
Yep. And that's, yeah, all the RSAs, I suppose, appoint a secretary.
Yep.
Likewise, that would happen if the recording is not available for whatever reason.
Absolutely, yep. Good clarification. All right, minutes of June 17.
Have one, two, so line 28. You called the meeting to order at 7:15, not 7:30.
We actually called the meeting to order at 6:30.
Well, true. We continued here
We
at
continued
7:15.
inside this building at,
U2 timestamp was 7:15.
7:15.
Right.
And then I'm down to line 46. It says George Merrill said that he would like to see that the problem with doing away with the road. I believe that should say George Merrill said that he doesn't have a problem with doing away with the road. Line 49 says these impacts, I think, or it should be this impacts.
What number was that, I'm sorry?
Line 49,
This impact?
this impacts. And then if anyone has anything before 108,
I do.
Okay.
Line 59, 4 lost, obviously. 4 lots. Mr. Menard said he believes that the deed specifies 4 lots, which the 4 lots by RSA is not supported for a hearing for properties that, I'm not sure what that's supposed to say. But I'm pretty sure lost is supposed to be lots somehow. So I would ask to maybe re-listen to 58 and 59 to see what that sentence is supposed to be. And 61 was a motion to invoke the RSA. So strike the nomination. And what line did you have?
108.
I have 100. The abatement for 13569, was that really for Lawson Sap House property?
Yeah.
It was? Okay.
It was.
I don't remember that, but,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. All right.
Yep, 108.
I'm sorry, before we move on, lines 46 and 47, talking about the road as well. I know we're gonna fix that a little bit, but doing away with the road was done 20 years ago. I think that, where the paperwork was from 20 years ago, or
Yeah,
to clarify that a little bit.
was the
road.
Or just the road from 20 years ago?
The road, was approved 20 years ago.
It was approved 20
It
years.
was approved 20 years ago. With the road that was approved 20 years ago?
Was it more than 20, was it more than 20 years ago? 10?
Thought it was.
Yeah, more than 20. Okay.
108, 109, Corcoran is spelled incorrectly. And then 112, it says "and seen then seeing," and that should be "and having seen." And then I'm on 173.
Okay, I have 127. Second sentence, the board waived the policy to get the ZBA a full board. All we waived was a portion of the policy that had to do with attending a meeting because those two had experience and had watched.
Where were you?
127, and had watched meetings online. So we only waived the attend one meeting in person, not the entire policy.
So you waived a portion of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One 173, it says Isley's, should be Osley's. And then 184, it says cease, it should be cease and desist. That's everything I had.
I'm back up at Ellsworth's.
Okay, yep, that was 173, and then on 184,
84, is that 174, sorry.
there's cease, but that should be cease and desist.
And on Ellsworth's, it's just your last name? Is that what you're asking?
I thought it was spelled wrong.
Your last name is spelled wrong.
Yeah, that's all I was saying.
Okay.
The very last the last word on 173.
Yes.
I had nothing.
You had nothing?
After that 30-page grant, I guess I missed a lot of stuff.
The only thing you're gonna fill in is the last.
Yep.
Okay.
According to my notes, 216 should be Pratt, 217 should be Bloom, 220 should be Bloom, and 221 should be Platt. 223 is Matthews, and 224 is Bloom. And I apologize, I didn't send those level of detail. I sent the times, but I didn't send the motions. Apologize. Thank you. Okay, motion to accept the minutes of June 17th, 2024 as amended this evening.
Second?
Any further discussion? All those in favor say yes or yay.
Yes.
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 Anyone opposed?
Abstain, I wasn't here.
Okay. All right. Administrators report.
I just, before we get these, maybe you have to sign the top one, and I'll have to sign the other. I had them prepared, but not with the right terms, so I just had them initially.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, and Janice, we have the right number, are we gonna finally get these off our desks with the,
I hope so.
okay, we're just gonna have some, the 3 board members that participated in our evaluations for the chief, DPW, and myself.
Yep.
Are here, they've been sitting here, so.
Yep.
I believe they're all 3 here. I think it just requires your signatures on the back page. Can we just pass them that way? Alright. One is not on my list before I start my list. I forwarded him, I know it was late this afternoon. We have some damage from Zero Turn, sent us several pictures, as well as an estimate of $340 for the extra cleanup. I have attached the quote as well as all the pictures if you guys want to look at them.
When you say damage, meaning they found damage or they caused
It's-
damage?
No, it's trees,
Okay,
so.
thank you.
Start at the top. The fire chief contract, the fire chief, the contract discussion, he's here for the non-public at the end and hopes we can finalize that. Also, I shared with you, if one goes, then the interim, I think they sent you kind of an interim agreement that was fairly straightforward, but those two should go together. We talked about Mildred Hall, you did the public hearing, you did those. I also shared with you, which I'd like to go over, I don't mean to make the chief wait, but I put together a draft ad for what I called the administrative assistant / land use. You guys can discuss that, and so that's on the top sheet, dressed as draft. The second one is let's go to the back one. The back one is the actual one that you had when we hired like Monique and them as far as the administrative assistants and board of selectmen. So I tweaked it a little bit to do the land use part. That's why I put draft across the middle. So you all have that in front of you. So then I will go down through that. You were also, I shared with you a follow-up from our discussion on the advisory committee with regards to town council. I shared that with you. I believe you all saw that. That was Friday afternoon.
I don't recall seeing that.
Or was that when Microsoft crashed? Was that Friday?
It was Friday.
That's why you
No,
guys
I
don't.
didn't get the
Okay. I will
interview
forward-
information or
yeah.
that.
That's what I thought. So I gotta forward you that if you want.
I would like.
Okay, that's fine. East Road, non-meeting with council, I'm still working on dates. So when I get dates, Salem, before you leave tonight, can I just have the dates you're not available? You don't have to do it now.
Yep.
And then, of course, the Energy Committee. Building permits, you don't have a weekly one because obvious reasons. I'm hoping that we can finalize the signatures on the reviews for the DPW Town Administrator and Fire Chief. I'm going to finalize, which I've not yet, is the signatures for the CBA and the Colburn discretionary easement. I don't recall the IT, Janice, you shared us the information. Were we going to just look at it and have a further discussion later?
David provided me some input. I was gonna consolidate all the input
Okay,
and
that's
then
fine.
get back to Doug.
Sure.
So
No,
I just
I just
got
didn't wanna
his
lose it.
on Friday.
Okay.
So I just wanted to do a last call. If anybody else had anything, I'm gonna compile it all and
Fair enough.
talk to Doug.
Yep,
And I think we already talked, they were okay with me calling Doug.
okay, that's fine. We got a complaint on Sewell Hoyt. That's been a long time. I did get a call that they're working on it. What I'm gonna do is give that to Bob and let Bob take care of that.
Which one is it?
Sewell Hoyt with the campers and they came in early on.
It's about 6 down.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give it to Bob now that he's gonna take care of that. I did send out letters to the Congress Stage one. I sent it to the landowner as well as the cell phone company and heard nothing.
Okay.
You did hear back from, Ilsley's got a complaint and you heard back from her as well.
Yeah, she wants to come in and chat. I think we should do that before we schedule a public hearing about posting the no parking, just to see what her plans are,
Okay.
so.
Yep, we have to just let her know when.
Yep.
The other ones, I had proceeded, I given you before the draft policy for minors. We can just leave that to be reviewed. Anti-terrorism, we talked about, training. The transfer station, I think Jason's still trying to put together everything for the PBN. We're not quite there yet. The other ones have been on here for a long time. I just have a question. RFP for the police dispatch. Chief Moore provided us with information. Is that something that can come off as far as sole source?
I thought he just needed to give us a written statement on why he wanted the Goffstown to be the sole
I
source.
thought he did, I'll check on that.
I
too.
don't
Yep,
recall, I still had it on my open items
Okay,
list.
that's
Just that he needs to give us just a memo.
okay. Review of the building permit process, I'm not sure if you wanna wait and see how 60 days brings us and then talk about it, or do you wanna do it while he's here? Just asking,
Rather wait till we
okay?
have pegs in place.
Yeah, lease, use agreements, gather a list, as far as the leases that we have. Consent agenda, a lot of these are old. I did get the RFP information over to the conservation. I think I copied you guys. Again, it was Friday, so if you didn't get it, I can share it again.
I didn't. I don't think I got anything
So I should
on
retrace my
so,
Friday?
Yeah. Or today, if you sent the other ones today.
No, I
didn't
think I
get-
got that. You sent off
Yeah, I did.
just the PDFs, right?
Yeah, but you know what? It might have been conservation, not everybody.
Yeah, that could be.
Sorry. Lease on the hayfield, I'll reach out to the gentleman that's doing it. I did find a cell phone number for him. The rest of them have been on for quite a while, which are the perambulation, the engineering for PB to review. I believe they're gonna try to do that this coming week, I'm hoping. Just saying. When would you like IT, custodial, and lawn care? They're due in the, I know lawn care is due in the fall.
Yeah, I had the action to generate drafts like I did for engineering and legal, and I honestly didn't put any time into it
Nope.
because we still hadn't got through engineering, so I can move
Okay.
those up on my to-do list.
Okay.
So,
I
I'll
do
'em
have,
in
I do have the old ones
lawn
if you
care
want 'em.
first, because I think that was the one that expires first.
Lawn care is the end of November of '24, at the end of the season.
And I think the other two were the end of the year.
12/31, yep,
So I was gonna do lawn care first.
okay. As I said, I didn't add much more to it. Emissions. I do have I'm gonna ask a general question, it's not on here. Is the board interested in pursuing and moving forward? We have some tax deeded property. So to dispose of, you either do it by public hearing or you do it at public auction. Are you interested in moving forward and getting them back on the tax rolls? Then we could schedule an auction and list them all. In years past, we've used St. Jean auctioneers. They basically get the list together, they do all the advertising, we've held it at the school, they take care of all the paperwork. It was, anyway, no one's sitting here that did it with us. It was pretty straightforward. It's just, you know, there's interested parties out there for some of them. And right now, we've clicked the button on 6 of them, you signed last week, and so now they go to the exempt status. So there'll be no taxes in the second half if you don't get it back on the tax rolls. So basically what we do is I could reach out to St. Jean, who does the state auction, is who we used before. If you're interested in that, I'll put together what we have for list, kind of what we're talking about, because they're, typically you get your money, you start out that bid for the money for taxes, because there's no, we don't get the extra money. It goes to Goffstown District Court too. They have to open up interpleader accounts for each one so that then they put out if somebody has a mechanics lien or something like that. So there's not an advantage for us to hold on to them. It's just, I think we insure them, but I think it would be nice to put them back out. That's just my thought. So before I invested a lot of work into it, I'd like to see if you guys want to pursue something. We did it last time in the fall, because everybody's busy in the summer. We held an early fall auction, advertised very well.
So you're asking, one, do we want to do anything, and second, do we want to do it via public hearing or auction?
Yeah, you can do a sealed bid, or you can do it at public auction. I mean, because we have to figure out how much is due us, and just so we have a ballpark. Would you like me to figure that out first, and let you know what we're talking about?
Sure.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the protocol that we're following?
What's that?
Is there a protocol that we're following, RSA, or?
Well, it's not really, I mean, in 2019, we put out a lot of property that we had taken over years. And then a lot of You just want to get it back on the tax roll.
Yeah,
Couple of pieces that
Yeah,
you sold at the auction, you got back at tax deed.
regulations,
Yeah.
and I don't know what the numbers are. off the
Yeah,
top of my head.
I could get that. So let me put together a package for you, and then, I know it's just early on for you, but we did do it in 19. And most towns do it again just to get it back on the rolls.
No, I agree, but just like
Okay.
to know
All right.
what we're doing.
So I can get you the RSA and the dollar amounts that we're talking about as property-wise and everything.
Thank you.
Unless I missed something, please let me know.
I had two things that we previously talked about.
Okay.
One is the cable committee. Did they meet? Are they meeting? Are they doing anything?
We have it on the calendar, but I don't know if they've met. I'd have to ask Doug.
Okay.
They do have 3 members.
Yes, they do.
Mhm.
And we asked for additional money be put into their funds so that they could do some wonderful things for us this year. And I don't know what those wonderful things are.
Yeah, no, you're right, Okay, cable.
And we talked last time about the zoning ordinance. Can we get that on the to-do list, updating it?
Yep.
You guys have anything?
The brushwork at the horse barn, is that?
Yeah, actually, thank you for bringing that up. Jason sent his guys over, but it's sumac and everything else, and they were not interested in getting all infected. And
So we gotta look for someone else to do that?
I might have somebody else that could do it.
How about did we send a letter out to Sugar Hill Road? Complain of the odors?
I found her email, because I asked Katie for it.
That was just following up that we didn't find anything.
Yep.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
that was all
okay.
it was. Because she followed with us, but not with her.
And the cemetery site walk, are we gonna talk more about that or schedule that? Do we want that on here or,
This is regard to the line?
yeah,
Yeah.
I did run into him today, and explained to him what the tax map showed, as well as what his survey showed, because there was that lot. As you guys got pictures, the subdivision was surveyed and the line, and there was a special exception issued for the zoning board in 92 in regards to the line. So I think there's an error on the tax map, but I can't fix it without a new plan. So he asked me if I could reach out to Mr. Dahlberg at Tom Moran, because that's where he is now. And he'd be happy to do like a boundary survey. We can't record the subdivision plan, but the survey was bounded, the boundary was surveyed. So that was late this afternoon, so I let him know what was going on as far as that, but I gotta get a hold of Tom Moran. The minutes, we tried pulling Mary Ann pulled the minutes from me the other day, but she wasn't able to finish it on Wednesday night, because while she was in there, because the books are in the vault for the planning board, and you gotta follow them from one meeting to the next.
So we still have the open question on, is that really the line?
I think the thought is the line.
Right, but is it really the line?
True.
Right.
That's the
So I
bigger
think
question.
until we know that answer, we can't, it's worthless to go out there.
Yep.
I mean, we can go out there and look, but what are we looking at?
you'd have to straighten out, do we have to bound it? Do we have to put monuments at the corner?
You would.
We do.
I would think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have anything? No? Okay.
Did we cover correspondence?
Not yet. correspondence?
Something, I guess nothing really pressing. We had Ed Smith that sent an email, but it looks like we got back to him.
Yep.
Got an answer, should be all set.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything more from him.
Subdivision, plan of action. I didn't write the guy's name, but it looks like you responded to him as well with some pretty detailed
Okay.
information.
Oh, that was on 845 Deering Center.
I'm sorry?
845 Deering Center Road about subdividing and.
Yes.
Yep.
And the only other one was Chief Moore's email regarding the award ceremony for his people on 8/14. That's all I get.
Are the Board of Selectmen planning on going to the awards? If so, we need to post that we'll be there.
I won't be here.
What date?
I'm planning
That's a
on it.
Thursday, I think, isn't it? It's a Wednesday. It's Conservation Night.
Well, the awards starts at 6.
Yeah, he said, I asked the same thing because I was gonna go over, and he said it should be done by Sunday. So if you're gonna be attendance, then I can,
I plan on going.
I do too.
so I'll post it.
I will not be able to attend.
Week before, or meeting before, we had some correspondence regarding Thibault posting no trespassing signs on the railroad right-of-way. We had said, see what happens in the ZBA the following night. That was on 7/9. During the discussion, he was not specifically asked about the complaint, just during the course of his discussion, he said that he bought the right-of-way from the railroad.
Okay, so I can change that. So, a letter went out to him. A letter went out to, because the night here at the ZBA, I approached them.
Oh, you did?
I did. And and I showed him the letter and I showed him where it was posted. He asked me to look at the neighbor, which at the end has the mobile home park.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said he thinks it's from there. So that owner, I copied in the letter, and that owner came in and it was him. And he has talked to the girl that did the complaint, and he has issued verbal permission to her to walk. He has posted it because it's active and they're doing work there, and he doesn't want someone to get backed over, run over. So he added his name and number to the posting, but if they want permission, they can call. So he came in to see me and said he has made contact with her. He was going to put it in writing and copy it to me as far as giving her permission, but he has put his name and number on that sign. So if anybody else would like permission, but again, they're working in that area and didn't want to unexpectedly have something happen.
Sounds very responsible. As far as not wanting anybody to get hurt. Okay. All right, anything else under correspondence? And under other business, David has asked us about this grant. Two things. He wants us to sign this letter of intent, or a letter of support rather, and he wants to be named as the point of contact for the project. I have nothing against David, but since we haven't generated formally an energy committee yet, and we haven't appointed David to that committee, I just have a little bit of concern about appointing him, just solely from that standpoint. So those are the two things I think up for discussion, maybe other things, I'm not sure.
Anybody review the grant?
I've looked at it, but I haven't reviewed it in detail.
Yeah, I didn't
It looked okay, but
Yeah.
again, I haven't reviewed it in finite detail.
So my only concern is, section 5, general conditions, letter P, reimbursement of the project costs. Payment to grantees under this program is on a cost reimbursable basis unless otherwise approved. Disbursement shall be made in accordance with the procedures established by state and to CRF 200-305. Costs incurred prior to final grant agreement approval by the governor, or executive council are not eligible for reimbursement. That in itself is not major concern, but if it's done on a cost reimbursable basis, that means we have to have a fund set up to make those payments to get reimbursement back, correct?
They have to come from somewhere.
Right. Now, if we move forward to put the grant through, that does not necessarily mean we have to accept the grant
That's
if we
true.
get it.
Correct.
And we could ask for a schedule of anticipated funds, outlay, inlay, everything,
Yep.
before we accept it.
Because my assumption would be, it would be a chunk of money, not the full amount, that would be able to be churned.
In terms of each payment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Similar
Yeah,
to
it wouldn't be
the-
100%.
Similar to the
Yeah.
bridge fund.
That's usually not how it works, yeah.
But that was really my only major concern.
I have two thoughts on the letter, both in the first line. I don't think we should send a letter that says the 5 members. I think it should be the Ware, New Hampshire Board of Selectmen. It shouldn't, in my opinion, like we're acting as a board, not as individuals. And then I find the word enthusiastically a little strong, given that I'm a little nervous about it.
As I said, you're welcome to edit it, but I wanted to give you a start.
It's a lot easier, yeah, to start with something.
May I ask a question?
Yes, would you come up to the mic, please?
At the last meeting, you seemed enthusiastic about us pursuing the grant. And I think a point of contact is needed in order to do that, so I can communicate with all the people, the solar companies who would do the construction and give us the bids. So I'm wondering about your reluctance, both to why you would be reluctant to have us be an official committee.
No, I'm not reluctant to have you be official committee, you just haven't been appointed as official committee, and you're not a member of an official committee because we haven't made an official committee.
Oh, right.
That's the only,
Okay.
that's the origin of my concern. It's
Okay.
not you, it's not the project, it's
I see.
process.
Would you be willing to work on that process and get us approved?
I'm not saying that we're not gonna make you that, I just, for this board's
Yeah.
discussion, I have to put out my
Yeah,
my opinions and concerns, and we discuss it and come to an agreement,
okay.
what we're gonna do. It's-
As I've
it's
said
not me making
before,
the decision.
yeah, there are dozens of towns pursuing this grant, and I'm not aware of any that don't have an energy committee. So I think that would be the logical, easy way to do it.
Thank you for the comment.
Can we somehow make him the unofficial contact until committee is set up, or contact possibly reporting
Yeah.
to someone till the committee is set up and transfer?
I think that's definitely something we could do, yeah. What does everybody else think?
I see the harm put in for it. I kind of have the same concern as David about the matching funds depending on,
Yeah, I think we did ask that last time, there's no match. It's 100% grant, but it's the outlay.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess match is
The
the
cost
term, but the
reimbursement,
upfront, yeah. Make sure that we had that somewhere, so.
Yeah.
I don't see why we wouldn't let him get going on it. Obviously, I think we have a little bit of responsibility to, you know, I don't just send him along with the thoughts that we're gonna say no if we were to be lucky enough to.
No, I agree. Thoughts? Any other?
I don't really have an issue designating Mr. Erickson as the point of contact. I guess I would just add, I assume it's like one name on the form. If there were two names, I would ask, put the town administrator as a secondary or something, but if nothing else, forward everything along, so that we can at least, stay aware.
I will do that. And also, on the form, the other is the authorized representative for the project, which we need. And I think that would be the board, I think. Naomi could.
Normally get on that. I don't know.
Whatever you want to do, it's up to you.
Okay.
David could be the point of contact and, I mean, this is to apply.
Right.
You still have,
Right, a lot of.
do you get it? Do
Yeah.
you still have, there's a lot of process still.
I'm
This
assuming
is
somebody's
to,
gonna get questions and they're wanna know.
Well, the point of
Yeah,
contact, 'cause
right,
he's put
those were
together the
there, but
application.
If they want specifics about the town and our,
yeah, well,
our
we got him
infrastructure.
Sam's number, we've worked together with him, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it is due August 1st, and I need some kind of letter of support from, hopefully from fire and police. I sent that over today, and it's required that I have one from the board. They're not going to even accept the application without a letter of support, which, yes, you can edit, of course, but I need a letter of support. I will also ask the Barrington Power for their, just their advice on how it's worked in the past, whether the money comes in directly to them. I don't think so. But would there be a need for the town to front any money for the project? I didn't believe so, but I'll confirm that with the people I'm working with from Revision, Barrington Power, and 603 Solar.
Okay.
So we do have 3 companies willing to give us a bid, but not by August 1st.
If I remember right, but I guess before you sit there, at our last meeting, we happened to actually talk with the chief about the electrical in the building there while you were present. And if I remember right, you said you would investigate, is that gonna cause any issues?
I did do that, yes.
Okay.
Thanks for asking. We went to the safety complex for the site visit with a representative from Barrington Power. He looked at the main panel and saw, yes, it is totally full. There's not a knockout to replace. But he said the power comes in on the supply side. There's no need for a breaker or anything in that panel. It'll be linked in, similar to the way it is at my home, I think.
Through the meter, right?
Yeah.
You have to replace the meter.
I think they put, in my experience, they put another box beside the meter. It has to have a
Like, yeah.
quick disconnect because
It
you,
has the
You want to shut it off in a fire situation.
I think they're gonna be, I think if it's like mine, there'll be 2 meters, where one is showing what the supply is, but at Eversource, or they will still need to have a correct meter to receive the energy back into the grid.
That could be.
So I think there's gonna be some interruption, but it should be minor for that.
Yeah, they've done it
The new
100
meters, one
times.
goes forward, one goes backward. The new meter, they put 1 meter on, and 1 goes what you're being charged, and 2 is what you're being credited. 1, the arrow goes different ways. We just did it, so,
Okay.
meter,
Different from my own home because mine was done in
years ago.
earlier. Yeah.
Mine's a little older now, too.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
ours was just done 2 months ago. So.
Yeah, and if I haven't stated before, this is a long shot, but I think good letters from the board, Keith Earth, I think will help being on finance for in the State House. I think that will be a key letter. And then one from the 2 chiefs, just saying this, they have no problem, or they can put the word enthusiastic in there if they'd like.
Any further discussion? Any
Well-
motions?
Well, it's not specific to this application, and I know you guys have been working on this for a while, so you know, between last year and this year, there's been quite a bit done, but we still haven't put together an official energy committee. I would like to see, I know we don't have time to get that in place before we go this far, so I think.
No, but
this is a good idea.
I would like to have what are we going to do?
Definitely would like to have
We've talked
that
about it, it was
official.
on the agenda, we had a very, very long meeting, we didn't actually get to it.
Right.
We've had public comment that says don't do it, we've had public comment that says do it. You know, does this board just wanna vote, or do we wanna have a public hearing, or what do we wanna do?
You all have the bylaws, proposed bylaws, so.
Yeah. So we can talk about that first if you want.
I'd be willing to not have that conversation now with the understanding that we need to be having it, but I want, you know, if we wanna move forward on a letter of recommendation for right now, with the understanding we need to, we should get that in place.
Other thoughts?
Just move this request along tonight and make sure that's on our forethought here in the near future for the committee.
I think I prefer a public hearing, just given that we have had feedback with multiple viewpoints already, rather than just take a vote at some point. Just offer up, one last,
Okay.
say your piece to everybody.
Anyone opposed to a public hearing?
Not opposed. I think
Think it's unnecessary?
well, by RSA, we don't need one,
Right.
but it's also not a bad idea to get public input.
May find some more volunteers for it that way too.
That's true. Publicity's good. I think, Naomi, and Janice, you have a digital copy of that letter if you wanted to edit it.
Yeah. I sent it to the rest of the board as well.
Thanks.
So I'm ready to make a motion. I have 3 edits to this letter. One, scratching 5 members of and scratching the word enthusiastically, and then hyphenating day-to-day. Those are the 3 edits I have. So just reading the first line, I would say, the Ware New Hampshire Board of Selectmen support this application for the NH DOE Municipal Solar Grant Program. And to that effect, I guess how would you, so given that you would sign this, and I want to make a motion to authorize you to sign it, how do you feel about making an edit and printing it and signing it?
So I have a question. I gotta run upstairs and do those 2. I have it in Word. I could do whatever you wanted and bring it back
Okay.
down.
Hey,
While
yeah.
you talk with the chief, as long as you guys don't mind, I can do that.
No, I don't mind.
So what was the change
I'll
to?
make I can hand this to you.
Oh,
And the signature
What about it?
needs updated. I think it's just chair, where Board of Selectmen.
yep.
So,
Yep.
okay.
And then day-to-day you got? Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we authorize the chair to sign the letter as amended.
For a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say yes or yay?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? That would be me.
Oh, yeah.
Passes. So do you guys want to schedule a public hearing or just put this on the agenda for us to talk about?
I would say the 12th, we could have a public hearing, there's time. We're not meeting till the 12th. Do you want to have a public hearing then? There's time to put it out.
I think so. Do a public hearing and discussion.
It's basically to establish the energy committee and adopt the bylaws, or?
Nope,
No.
just establish the committee, then we're gonna have to put out the call for volunteers, then we're formally appoint volunteers, and then they can come back with bylaws.
Okay. So public
Is that, I think, what we've been doing, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Right, I can do those. You'll have to wait, just, I'll have to do it after we're done. When we go into non-public, I'll just run upstairs while you guys, is that okay?
Yeah.
I'll be out here.
Okay.
All right. Anything else? We need a motion to pay this bill,
You take it out of Cypre,
right? Okay.
which is part of your warrant article.
I'd like to make a motion to pay Zero Turn LLC $340 for removing pine trees on the back side. And I believe these are fallen pine trees based on the pictures. They're not removing live trees, they're removing fallen pieces from the back side, right side of Quaker Cemetery, and the same far left of Quaker Cemetery, total of $340. And this would be coming out of the Cypre account.
And you made that motion?
I did.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion or any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes or yay? Yes?
Yes.
Anyone opposed?
I'll take that back so I
Anyone
remember to
abstain?
send it. So I have a question before you go into non-public with the chief. I sent you, you'd asked me about the compressor money, and I gave you a number of what Beth said we had left. So is Wyndham still holding that? Not, is it Wyndham? Somebody's still holding that for you?
Fire tech and safety,
So
yep.
Fire Tech and
As of
Safety
last
is
week.
still holding the compressor, and you asked me to verify through ARPA money that we would have enough money. And I said in the email, we'll have, at Beth's guess right now is $200,000. So we have $17,000 to do the compressor as well as the upgrade to the panel, and that, I asked Beth, that would fall into the ARPA funding. But you guys need to have that so that he can,
So you said Beth said that,
we have,
this checks the boxes?
yes,
to allow-
I
okay.
asked that too.
Okay.
And I asked that and for the money.
Yep.
It checks the
Yeah, I just wanna
boxes
make
and
sure
there's
it's something
money.
that is allowed.
Yes, because I said, A, does it check money-wise? She said yes, and I said, well, B, will it check their paperwork? And she said yes. Because it's the, you're filling the oxygen bottles for the safety, so. It does check those boxes, so. But I don't want to lose out. I know we haven't done anything yet, and sorry, it wasn't my report, but we were looking at about 17 total, 10 for the compressor and 7 for the upgrade to the panel. That would come out of ARPA money.
Okay, so give me the names again,
Say it again?
the names. The 10,000 goes to?
The 10,000 goes to
Fire tech and safety.
fire tech and safety. And then the $7,000 would be the town electrician of Carroll Johnson. That's for the upgrade to the panel.
And ARPA bought these, right? And it covered the electrical for these? Okay. Just paranoid. I don't want them to come back and then we gotta find $7,000 somewhere. Yeah,
No,
Right.
17.
well, you know, if they okay with the compressor.
Yeah. Okay. I will make a motion to waive the purchasing policy and award 10K to Fire Tech and Safety for a compressor. Is there more description on what the compressor is?
It could be an, self-contained breathing apparatus fill station.
That sounds better.
No U, though.
What's that?
No U, it's not underwater.
No, we're not going underwater.
Unless ARPA doesn't cover it.
Right, and then we're gonna be going.
It'd be
And then we'll-
upside
then
down.
we'll
Oh, that's
We'll be
fine.
upside down underwater.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to award 10K to Fire Tech and Safety for a SCB fill station and waive the purchasing policy because we are buying this from a secondhand dealer and it's the only one that we know of available. Does it come with any warranty?
Taillight guarantee. That it was working, it was fully operational when it came out of the other facility. They ended up getting a grant, they did an upgrade of their whole entire system. So they took it in, quote unquote, in trade, and it only has 200 hours on it, so that's minimal for that piece of equipment.
And what fund does this come out of? ARPA?
Just ARPA funds.
Okay, just ARPA, we don't need
Yeah.
to say anything different? Okay.
No, are you gonna
With the
include,
money coming from ARPA?
are you gonna include the $7,000 for
I was
electrical?
gonna do that separately because it's a second award.
Sorry, that's fine.
That's okay. I can do them together. Up for. What do you want me to do? Together or separate?
I think separate.
Okay, all right. So I'll make that motion. Does anybody want a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say yes or yay?
Yes.
Yes? Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Motion passes. I'll make another motion to award $7,000 for Carroll Johnson, Town Electrical, to do the electrical wiring required for compressor installation or fill station installation. This will be against the town contract, and it will be ARPA funds as the source for this one as well. Is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion?
Should these say up to, you know?
That was what his price was.
It was like
Okay.
six, it was almost 7.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor say yes or yea? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Motion passes. Okay. Anything else?
Just a few things from the conservation meeting. Frank Campana had come to that meeting, and he asked for a status on East property from the Conservation Commission, and we did inform him that we are still working on that, and we do not have any more public information other than that at the moment. During the meeting, we talked about Duck Pond Estates. There are no updates at this time. Conservation Commission sent DES their impressions of the site walk, and they we'll take it under consideration. Meridian was there and presented some information on a town landowner looking to create a trout pond on his property. And during that presentation, he did mention that he has some, well, he's going to be excavating a half-acre worth of material. Not sure what's going to happen with that material, if it's going to stay on the premises or be transported, so he may be coming to visit us for a permit for that. Barden property asbestos abatement project, Naomi was going to draw up or help out with the
Yeah, she's been on
contract.
vacation, so she's supposed to send it tomorrow, yeah.
Okay. Phelps Farm Forest Harvest and Student Expo is complete. It's understood the expo went smoothly and had about 100 participants.
Nice.
And the gifting for the work and labor of the equipment for the driveway apron at Eastman. Andy was going to put together some information. He did send something to Naomi.
Yeah,
So,
I have to put it on the next agenda, and we just accept it, it's not a public hearing.
Not a public hearing.
No, it's below the threshold, but you do have to post it and then
Right.
just make the exception.
Just make sure we're very clear on what the work is.
Yeah. He
Versus-
detailed it, I think, in the
Okay.
email we just got.
Okay.
and that's it for the conservation. And I just want to let you guys know, there was that complaint about the Meadow Drive and Elm Drive with the chip seal. So I did have a discussion with the person, I do know him, that further led to another discussion. They were wondering about when the final top coat was gonna be done, but there is no final top coat. There is the chip seal process, and then there's a fog seal, the two separate processes. The town does chip seal only. So I did let him know that. I said it should be smoothing out, and he said it is getting smoother, but he says it's kind of tough for the kids on their skateboards and scooters, that they're having a tougher time. It's more inclined for bicycles now. Don't know if that will get better over time, but the other complaint was just the aggregate getting kicked up here and there. So he said town did what it was supposed to do, and that's fine, but maybe you can consider that maybe not all roads should be chip sealed. But he asked me to pass that along, so I did.
Thank you. Anything else? All right. So I think we're at the end of the public portion of our meeting, and it's 9:18 PM. We'll be entering a non-public under RSA 91A3, Section 2A and C for the purposes of discussing the fire chief contract. We will adjourn the meeting after exiting the non-public. And as a reminder, our next Board of Selectmen meeting is August 12th. So I will motion to enter a non-public session at 9:18 PM under RSA 91A3, Section 2, subsections A and C for the purposes of discussing the fire chief contract with the current chief. It's a roll call vote. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. James. Selectman Knapp?
Yes.
Selectman Pratt?
Yes.
Selectman Bloom?
Yes.
Selectman Matthews, yes. Selectman Drury?
Yeah.
Okay, motion passes.
Okay.